Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 24, entitled Worshipping Govardhana Hill. Text 1. But before we start reading the text, there is a summary given. I will just read that first. In this chapter, Lord Shri Krishna crushes the pride of Indra by prohibiting a sacrifice intended for him and initiating a substitute sacrifice in worship of Govardhana Hill. When Shri Krishna saw the cowherd man busily preparing for a sacrifice to Indra, he inquired about it from their king Nanda. Nanda explained that the rain given by Indra enables all living entities to maintain their lives, and therefore this sacrifice would be executed to satisfy him. Krishna responded, "It is because of karma alone that living entities take their birth in a certain body, experience varieties of happiness and suffering in that body, and then give it up as the karma pertaining to it runs out. Thus, it is karma alone that is our enemy, our friend, our guru, and our Lord, and Indra can do nothing to alter the happiness and distress of anyone, for everyone is tightly bound by his karmic reactions. The material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance bring about the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this world. The clouds give forth rain when they are impelled by the mode of passion, and cowherds prosper by protecting the cows. Furthermore, the cowherd's proper residence is in the forests and on the hills. Therefore, you should offer worship to the cows, the Brahmanas, and Govardhan Hill." After Krishna spoke thus, he arranged for the cowherd man to worship Govardhana with the paraphernalia collected for the sacrifice to Indra. He then assumed a huge, unprecedented transcendental form and devoured all the food and other offerings presented to Govardhan. As he did so, he proclaimed to the cowherd community that although they had worshipped Indra for so long, he had never appeared in person, whereas Govardhan himself had now manifested before their eyes and eaten their offerings of foodstuffs. Therefore, they should all now offer obeisances to Govardhan Hill. Then Lord Krishna joined the cowherds in offering obeisances to his own newly assumed form. Now the text 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Bhagavan Api Tatra Eva Baladevena Samyutaha Apashyat Nivasan Gopan Indra Yaga Krita Udyaman. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Api, also, Tatra Eva, in that same place, Baladevena, by Lord Balaram, Samyutaha, joined, apashyat, saw, nivasan, staying, gopan, the cowherd men, Indra, for Indra, the king of heaven, yaga, for the sake of a sacrifice, krita, making, udyaman, great endeavor. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Shukadeva Goswami said, while staying in that very place with his brother Baladev, Lord Krishna happened to see the cowherd man busily arranging for a sacrifice to Indra. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami and other acharyas, the word tatra eva in this verse indicate that Lord Krishna stayed in the village of the Brahmanas whose wives had satisfied him by their devotion. Thus he gave his mercy to those Brahmanas as well as to their chaste wives who had no one to associate with except their husbands. In that place, the cowherd men, headed by Lord Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj, were somehow or other preparing an elaborate sacrifice to Lord Indra, and Lord Krishna reacted as follows. Om Jnanathimiranthasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guravshyataf Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavan api tatraiva baladevena samyutaha apashyan nivasan gopan indrayaga kritodyaman. So, Krishna just recently taught a lesson to the Brahmanas who were puffed up about their being Brahmanas, about their learning, about their austerities, about their being very pure, and so many things. And Krishna taught them that because of that pride, they became so bewildered that they forgot the very aim of their austerity, learning, and everything. And now, this pride can not only bewilder us who are on this earth, but this pride can even bewilder the demigods in a similar way. So now, with this next pastime, one of the lessons which Krishna will teach he will teach lesson to Indra now, a demigod, who again in a similar situation got puffed up because of the power which he actually got from Krishna only. But being unable to use that power in the service of the Lord, that power itself became the cause of his bewilderment. And he became so envious of Lord Krishna that he wanted to punish Krishna and everyone who is being with Krishna. So, in a very joking way, Krishna does this, as in the previous pastime also and this pastime also. In a very loving way, he chastises Indra, brings him to his senses. So, as we discussed previously also, this is a very astonishing thing how Maya can creep in very insidiously without our knowing it. Apparently, we may be doing devotion service, apparently, we may be obeying Krishna's orders, but in actuality, we may be completely off track. Like the Brahmanas, they were following Krishna's instructions only. They were being Brahmanas, they are the guru of everyone else. They were doing the sacrifices which Krishna only has told to do through his scriptures. So, they were doing perfectly well in many ways, but still they were completely off track. So, similarly here Indra, demigods, they are also appointed authorities to manage this universe. And in that way, they serve Krishna. They are loyal to Krishna, and that's why they got that position in the first place. So they are devotees in one sense. They are loyal to Krishna. But as the saying goes, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this danger is always there. And in so many instances we see that historically and even in our present day scenario that power corrupts. Actually, the fountainhead of all the power is Krishna. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasya shriya. He is the fountainhead of everything. And whatever power or opulence we have is just a reflection of a minute quantity of that which is possessed by Krishna. But just by that reflection itself, we may become puffed up because actually, originally it doesn't belong to us. So actually we are not qualified to possess those powers because constitutionally we are insignificant. Therefore, if we try to imitate Krishna, that's what we all are trying to do since time immemorial, since we came to this material world. So we are trying to imitate Krishna, and therefore, whatever power, whatever opulence we get, we are unable to digest it. Because actually we are not constitutionally powerful. Krishna is constitutionally powerful. But Krishna, on the other hand, can empower us, the tiny, insignificant souls, to an extent that through us, Krishna may do things which even Krishna himself does not do. That is also true. Like yesterday, Prabhu was mentioning about a pastime where in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asked Nityananda Prabhu not to come to Puri, stay in Navadvip. So in that same Leela, he says, You stay in Puri and preach because you can preach the way I cannot. You can accomplish the things which I cannot. And practically it happened also. Jagai Madhai, they were delivered by Nityananda Prabhu. Chaitanya Prabhu wanted to kill them, but Nityananda Prabhu saved them, delivered them. So this is also true that Krishna can make us so powerful that it is unimaginable. So we see Indra, Brahma, and more than them, the pure devotees. We see in the case of Narad Muni also, when Narad Muni came in contact in his previous life, when he was son of a maid servant, when he came in contact with great devotees and started practicing devotional service, he explains himself how he got the mystic powers, Anima, Laghima, and all those mystic powers. So actually Krishna wants to empower us because we have to serve Krishna. So to serve Krishna we need different skills, different empowerment. So Krishna is actually very pleased to empower us so that then there can be a reciprocation. So that's what Krishna wants. Krishna wants to empower us. But he will do so in proportion to the extent that we are ready to serve him utilizing those powers. If not, then Krishna withdraws or doesn't give that till then. Like once in the very early days, it was in San Francisco, 1967. At that time, the Sankirtan has not yet started. What the devotees will do, very few devotees in San Francisco, they will, Srila Prabhupada was living in his apartment and there was a storefront there, which in the evening Srila Prabhupada will come and deliver lecture, and in the daytime the few full-time devotees there, morning Mangala Arati and all, and then they will have cleaning and other services in the temple, and then they will read and chant. But only Jayanand Prabhu, who was there, he will maintain the whole temple by running a taxi. So there were much financial crisis to maintain that setup. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he explains, he just recently joined at that time with Vishnujan Maharaj, Mark, who became Vishnujan Maharaj later on. So very new, in the very initial days, he once heard this meeting going on between Srila Prabhupada and those disciples that they are facing financial crunch. So then Srila Prabhupada said that why don't you all also take up jobs? Jayananda alone, it's difficult for him to maintain, so why don't you all, for Krishna, we should serve Krishna. It's okay, nice chanting and everything is there, but we should also be ready to do whatever is required. So now there is a financial crisis, so others can also go out and take up some job. So that was very astonishing thing for Tamal Krishna Maharaj, that okay, so we can go out for a job, because hippie culture, everything was to give up everything, give up jobs. So now they came to Prabhupada and Prabhupada was saying, yeah, in devotional service we can go for jobs and do everything for Krishna. So do a job, but it is for Krishna, earning money for Krishna. So then afterwards Srila Prabhupada left soon for somewhere else, and then devotees started taking up job. Tamal Krishna Maharaj himself took some job, and money started coming in gradually, something like that. And then Srila Prabhupada, one letter arrived, and then Srila Prabhupada said, yeah, actually you are taking this job, but I am having another idea that instead of these jobs, you all go out for Sankirtan. You chant in the streets and Krishna will maintain you. Actually, Krishna is the husband of goddess of fortune. He can give everything to us, but he is not giving because we are not yet ready for it. So we may not become puffed up, therefore he is withholding. Otherwise, there is no dearth. So you just go out and chant in the streets, and by that sincerity Krishna will maintain. So there Tamal Krishna Maharaj writes in his book Servant of the Servant that it was a striking point that it's not that Prabhupada initially he asked us to go for jobs as if we need that to maintain ourselves, but actually Krishna maintains us, and Krishna can give us all power and everything, but he's just waiting for us to become ready that we use all that power in the service of Krishna. And once we are ready for that, then Krishna wants to give all opulence and everything. And this practically Srila Prabhupada demonstrated personally through establishing ISKCON. And what happened? Initially there was no money, there was no person. Initially very few came forward, lot of financial crunch, but gradually as devotees gathered based on Srila Prabhupada's instructions, they started serving, and the movement grew to such an extent, and so much opulence came. Srila Prabhupada later on in one lecture says, see, I came with just 40 rupees, and now we have so many temples, so many disciples, we are maintaining so many things. So Krishna maintains. So the point here, Prabhupada taught us that actually Krishna is all powerful, all power comes from him, but non-devotees don't recognize that. Devotees recognize this, and to the extent that we are able to recognize that, and to the extent that we are willing to serve, to that extent Krishna is happy to empower us and give us everything. So Indra, all the demigods, they are also given power actually to serve Krishna. But then there is a lopside of it because of our conditioned nature. We tend to misuse it, and therefore that danger is always there. Even in our devotional service, as we render devotional service, naturally we will get the empowerment. We will be able to do things which ordinarily otherwise we would not have been able to do. But then there is a risk always attached to that it can go into our head. And that we have seen in the brief history of our movement itself. In our life itself, we might have seen how this Shakti which we get by serving Krishna, it can actually become counterproductive for us. So therefore, Krishna teaches this lesson here again through this Lila that don't become puffed up. This all energy is just given to you to serve me, and you will be happy if you use it to serve me. And if instead of serving you want to enjoy that, then you will be unhappy. That's a simple lesson. So, so Krishna understood that this Indra is becoming puffed up, but Krishna was waiting for the right time. Every year these cowherd people will arrange this worship for Indra. It was a routine thing because there is a specific time every year when you worship certain demigods. That's what the routine. There is a time to worship Indra, there is time to worship Shiva, like that. So in the previous years also there was worship arranged for Indra, but then now this is the time which has come. Now it is the time to teach Indra a lesson. And then Krishna also had many other things always to do in one shot. So it was a time when he wanted to spend some time with the gopis, wanted to give gopis and the gopas a time, especially gopis, where they can intently be with Krishna for 7 days, 7 nights. And through this Leela, actually Krishna teaches many, many lessons to us. As we will be going through these verses one by one, we will be seeing them. One very important lesson which Krishna teaches through this Leela is that worship Govardhan. Worship of Govardhan is more important, much more important than worshipping demigods. We should not worship demigods. We should not worship demigods. The devotees should not worship demigods. But it is not that we should not worship demigods and we should not worship Krishna. That is not good. If we are able to worship Krishna, if we understand, if we are devotees, then we should not worship demigods. But if one is neither a devotee of Krishna and nor does he worship demigods, that is bad also. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartiti hayah aghayurindriya ramo mogha partham sajivati. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that for those who are not devotees, who are trying to enjoy this world, for them it is imperative that they should follow this yagna cycle properly. There should be regular worship of demigods necessary, because devan bhavayatanena te devan bhavayantu vaha paraspar bhavayantah shreya paramavapsatah. Krishna says, by this properly executing worship of demigods, this worship will satisfy the demigods. In turn, these demigods will supply you all the ingredients for living happily in this world, and in this way, not only in this world but in the next life, you will attain heavenly planets. So like that, you will be happy. And actually, there is a small spiritual increment also, which is happening by this process of worshipping demigods, and that's the main reason why Krishna has given this demigod worship, because there is a devotional service included in this, which of course the practitioners of this karma kanda, they don't know, but it is as if the mother, she gives a bitter medicine to a child mixed with honey. So the child does not know. The child thinks, I am eating honey, but actually mother knows that I am feeding the medicine. So similarly, Krishna, in the form of giving this karma kanda, these different sacrifices for demigods, etc., actually the purpose is that a small medicine which he has given in that. But there is always a danger that we become attached to that honey and forget the real purpose of that thing. So this is always happens, and that's why, as we were discussing the other day, Vyasadev, Narad Muni, he chastised the Vyasadev, that Jugupsitam dharma krite anushasataha. You think that for establishing devotion service, you have given them all this karma kanda, other things, but what will happen, because you have not sufficiently glorified the pure devotion service, people will think this karma kanda as goal in itself. They will become stuck up with that. And that actually happens always. The Brahmana got stuck up, this Indra got stuck up, they become proud, they get stuck up, they don't advance further. The purpose is that, okay, you start with whatever platform you are in and gradually advance to the next higher level, to the next higher level, to the next higher level. From Karma Kand you come to Jnana Kand, and then further come to the pure devotional service. That's the purpose. But the tendency of all of us here in this material world is to become attached to this material world. So, tasya nivaranam na manyate jana. We all of us, the tendency is that we only become attached to that sugar coating which is given along with that medicine. That is a tendency. So therefore, a preacher should always very forcefully preach about pure devotional service. Otherwise, there is always a tendency that the followers will get stuck up. So therefore, we see throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is very important point to understand, that Krishna, though he himself has given demigod worship, but at the same time he is again and again through Bhagavatam, through his acharya, through his representatives, he is condemning all these other processes very vehemently, correct? Like especially in Bhagavatam, again and again there is condemnation of everything except pure devotional service. Dharma projyata kaitavatra dharma paramanirmat saranam satam. From the very beginning. So, this is an important lesson for us to be learned, that we have to very forcefully speak about pure devotional service. And yes, of course, those who are unable to accept that, those who are unable to gain that faith in the pure devotional service, okay, if you are not, then you will be accommodated, okay, you go on with your karma kanda. At least it is better than being atheists, much better than being atheists. So in that way we accommodate, but it's not something desirable. So same thing, Krishna's mood. Yeah, okay, the sacrifices are there, it's okay, but this is for Alpamedasham. Alpamedasham. Krishna very clearly says this in Bhagavad Gita. Demigod worship is for the Alpamedasham. He himself has given, but at the same time he is telling this is for Alpamedasham. So that is the mood of a preacher. He accommodates, but he very clearly pronounces that this is despicable. So this is a very important lesson to be learned. Another important lesson to be learned here, that we will be seeing that Krishna is teaching us that how we should to live happily in this world, and to create a very favorable environment for devotional service, we should protect cows. And this is the reason what Krishna gave, why we should worship Govardhan instead of worshipping Indra. Krishna said that as far as rains are concerned, rains happen by dint of our karma phal. Though it is not true, but Krishna just to make a joke of Indra, he for time being preached an atheistic philosophy, karma mimamsavad, where in the person thinks that everything happens just because of our karma. There is no person involved. It's a mechanistic view. There is no person involved, there is no God. It is just matter and the laws governing matter that things happen. So there is a mechanical, we do some action, and then there is by dint of a mechanical law, there is a reaction to that. There is no involvement of a person beyond that karma law, even though there apparently is a person, a deity involved, but the deity is also a result of that karma phal alone. The deity cannot act beyond the purview of the karma phal. So in that way it's an atheistic philosophy, but Krishna, just for the sake of joking with Indra, to make him angry, he was postulating this, that what this Indra will do, we do our karma properly, and that's necessarily Krishna, Indra, even if he is there, he will have to give us this rain. What he can do? So forget about him. But we should worship this Govardhan, Govardhana. The name Govardhana means that person who actually enables our cows to flourish by providing green grass, by providing pure water, by providing places for us, the caves where we can take shelter when it is very hot outside, and like that. And so this Indra is listening when this Krishna is talking all these things. He is saying, what is saying? This mountains, I just crushed these mountains and you are asking them to worship this mountain instead of me? Because Indra is known for his Vajra, and one of the function of this Vajra is that he just snaps off the wings of mountains as they fly. So we understand that there was a time when the mountains used to fly, because mountains are also living entities. So they used to have wings, but then this Vajra, this Indra, by his Vajra, he will just cut their wings, and so all the mountains presently, they are stationed at one place. They no more fly. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai. So therefore Indra, he's becoming angered that you are asking them to worship this hill instead of worshipping me. Okay, I will show you what I will do. So, but that's what Krishna told all these cowherd boys, that we are cowherd community. Our whole existence is related to cows. And therefore, whoever is serving our cows, they are worshipable for us. So therefore, Govardhana is worshipable for us. Very importantly, Krishna is teaching us that being in this material world, Krishna has made an arrangement that all our life necessities will be fulfilled by Mother Earth and by Mother Cow. Vedic culture, in Vedic culture, we have 7 cows, 7 mothers who nourish us. One of them is Mother Cow and the Mother Earth. The one is who gives us birth, and then one who nurses us, like that. So, Earth is mother and cow is mother. They are living entities, they are persons. This is again in contrast to what the modern atheistic science makes us believe, that everything is unconscious. Matter is everything, as we were discussing yesterday. According to them, everything is unconscious. There is no consciousness at all. Consciousness does not exist. All planets are unconscious. Galaxies, everything is unconscious. Earth is unconscious. Plants, animals are unconscious. Even we are unconscious. What appears to be consciousness is an illusion. And the person who is saying this, a conscious person, so what he is saying should be illusion at least. Correct? So everything is unconscious, and therefore they means unconscious matter is treating another unconscious matter, which is very astonishing how the desire to treat, the desire to act comes in an unconscious thing, but somehow it is there, which is yet to be explained by the scientists though. But in the meantime, they are sure that consciousness does not exist. So therefore, they treat everything ruthlessly. So there is cruelty which is increasing, we see all around, because by very definition, in very principle, they have proclaimed that there is no consciousness. So therefore everything is matter. So therefore, what else we can expect? Cruelty will increase. Like Christians, they did not give soul to the animals, so therefore they just slaughter them right and left. But human beings, at least they have given the soul. So thou shalt not kill, which they have changed later to thou shalt not murder. Because they wanted to kill the animals, though they took out soul from the animals, and the scientists, they want to just exploit everything, so they have taken out soul from everything. So now everything is just there to be exploited. So Mother Earth. So Earth is a mother. Earth is a living entity, and not just a living entity, but she is mother. She takes care of us, and this we see in the instance of Prithu Maharaj also, how Mother Earth, she kept all the seeds in her womb and did not want to give them, because the demons were not using that facility to serve Krishna. They were demoniac. So like that. And similarly, cow is our mother. Prabhupada very much emphasized that we need to protect cows. Of course, here in Govardhana Lila, what we see, the cowherd community, they don't actually protect the cows just because the cow is very useful for them. They love the cows. That's another dimension. Because they love Krishna, and Krishna loves cows. Therefore, they love cows, naturally. Because Krishna is more pleased, more than when he is worshipped, when those who are dear to him are worshipped. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param tat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Whatever is related to Krishna, when they are worshipped, Krishna is even more pleased. So devotees know this. So therefore, they worship cows and they love cows. And in that way, they love actually everything and everybody. Because in one sense, everything and everybody is connected to Krishna. But some things are more personally connected to Krishna. So cows are very, very, very personally connected to Krishna. In throughout Krishna Lila, we come to know this. And therefore, it's a very important element of Krishna consciousness movement, cow protection. And through that cow protection, gradually developing love for this whole Brahminical culture in which cows are in the center, a very much prominent part. And another thing which Krishna teaches us, that for the cows to protect it, we need to have agrarian society. Cows cannot be protected without agrarian society. And if the society is not agrarian, that is, there should be subsistence agriculture. Because we subsist on food grain. Annat bhavanti bhutani, parjanyat ansambhava. We subsist on food grain. So therefore, our economy should come from land and cows. And farming is inevitable, because whatever scientists can do, the food is still is grown, can only be grown from the land. It cannot be manufactured in the industries. But that farming also should be subsistence farming. It should not be commercial farming. It should not be for profit making. We should be just growing for our needs, basic needs. It should not be for artificial things. So that's what we see in the life of this whole community. They were just satisfied by growing, getting their minimal things. Just a few days back, someone I heard, some devotees, they were saying, here generally the tendency in this part of the world is that people are very relaxed. They just don't want to overdo things. They are relaxed. So some people therefore perceive that people are a little bit what they call lazy here. They're just. So I felt that maybe it's the difference in their perspective. When from the European countries, from the West, where people are in habit of just overdoing, working, developing. So to a person who is not having this type of notion to go on developing, he's just satisfied with the basic needs. To such people, these people will appear lazy. Correct? Like there was one Englishman, one devotee from America. He once came to India and he was looking after some project, some building construction was happening. And so there was a local devotee, and then this American devotee came, and so he wanted to speed up the construction. So he was seeing that these people, they do work and sometimes they don't, but the work was not going at a speed which he expected. So he said that let's increase their salary and ask them to do overtime. Okay, so we'll increase the salary. So then he increased the salary, so they were on daily wages. So he gave them double the amount which otherwise they will get, expecting that they will be more eager than now to work. But what happened next day they didn't turn up. So he asked this Indian fellow, what happened? They didn't come. So he said, because you gave them double amount, so they did not need to work today because they already got the money for today. So therefore they did not come. So, so we should be just satisfied with whatever basically we need, because not that rest of the time we sleep, but because we need time to chant Hare Krishna. Correct. So not that we are in Tamoguna, but we need to relax. As far as the material work is concerned, just be satisfied with the basic minimum thing, because we need to save time to chant Hare Krishna, to serve Krishna, to develop our relationship with Krishna. So that is the motto, and that's what we see in Krishna Lila. Everybody is just doing that, satisfied with the basic things, and all the time thinking, and I am chanting and hearing and chanting and thinking about Krishna. So this is another important lesson that Krishna teaches us through this whole Leela, how to live simple life, and which is very conducive for Krishna consciousness. So with that, we will stop here. We have already reached the time. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much for the nice, wonderful class. Maharaj, Prabhu, I went to Singapore. Singapore is the only country we don't have land.
They don't have land.
No, they don't have capital city. Singapore is Singapore. Very small. They asked me then to give class. I was giving class, telling them the same thing, that human beings should live a simple life, agriculture and cow. And we are saying they never see cow before, because they don't have land. Everywhere is house, and their houses are 50-story buildings. People are staying there. So when I put them to this, I should tell them about agriculture and cow. They said, how can this be possible? So if like we do that, what advice you give them?
Yes. So it's like a person started beating another person with hammer, He said that, why you are beating me? Said, because I have this aspirin, so take this aspirin and your pain will be relieved. But the point is, in the first place, why you gave me pain? So there, in the first place, we are creating the problem. We are usurping all the land, leaving the villages, coming to the cities, thronging there, and then we are forced to live one above another, going up to hundreds of stories. Similarly, these different nations, like in India or some places, there is overcrowding, and then there are places where there is land, so much of land, but it's just lying vacant. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada gave us this understanding that Isha Vashyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. The understanding should be that this whole earth is Krishna's property, and we should just use what is our quota, understanding that the rest belongs to someone else. So similarly, there should be a proper organization of the land, so that wherever there is excess of people, they should be accommodated in the places where there is land. And on the earth, there are some places which are suitable for living, and there are some places which are not so suitable for living. So, like for example, there is Antarctica. There is ice all the time. So, some people live there, but that place is for those who are very sinful. The places which have abundance of natural resources are the places for the pious people to live in. So, therefore, one thing is, because of modernization, technological advancement, we have started inhabiting those places which otherwise were not habitable, or we have thronged more than what the capacity of that land is to sustain us. So in Singapore, now the situation has become, but definitely it would not have been the situation before. Before there would have been land or some way to live without growing something, correct? Or if there are some places like Middle East, Saudi Arabia or Dubai, so it's actually not a place for the civilized people to live, because there is sand everywhere, it's just desert. So how people used to live? First thing, very few people used to live, and they used to live by pearl diving. That was the main profession. They will take out pearls from the ocean, and then they will sell those pearls. Nothing was grown, but then by selling those pearls, they will get all their ingredients. So that is also true in some places when nothing grows, something is there, like pearls are there, again coming from nature, and then you sell it. So in Singapore, I don't know the history, but if you go, there must be something by which they were able to live. But this modern scenario is created by our modern technological advancement, that everybody is just, there are houses, and nothing else to grow. So there is no immediate solution. For that we need to reorganize the whole society, going away from this industrialization and going towards our roots. That may not happen over time or overnight, but the direction should be that. Hare Krishna. Yes. Can you please speak a little loud? Devotees should not worship demigods. Yes. Gopis worship the demigods. Yeah. Yeah. So how to understand that? So one thing is that the gopis, in one sense, never worship the demigods, because the Katyayani, she actually belongs to the internal potency, not to the Maya potency. Another thing is, even if the pure devotees worship demigods, yes, we can worship demigods if we are properly situated in the consciousness that demigods are just representatives of Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also showed us how devotees, when they go and if there happens to be a temple of a demigod, understanding that the demigods are angas, parts of Krishna's body, if we happen to be around, then we can go and pay our obeisances to them, glorifying them in relationship to Krishna. So even devotees can worship demigods, but this should not be a regular thing. The predominant, it cannot be at the same level as Krishna. It has to be with clear understanding. And normally, we are all coming from the background of thinking everybody is same. So our acharyas, they want us to just focus on worshipping Krishna first, because we already have a tendency to think that demigods and Krishna are equal. What Krishna may not give, we can ask demigods. So first we have to come out of that misconception. So therefore first let's ekkachitta, first become focused on just worshipping Krishna. Yes, in a very advanced level, when we are fully purified of the misconception that anything else can be equal to Krishna, then we can worship demigods, means giving them respect. But worshipping Krishna means developing our eternal relationship with Krishna, that we are his servants. That is not there with the demigods. We can offer respects to the demigods, but it will never be a relationship of Krishna as our master. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.